I'm so super excited. And I'll just be honest with you. I had an original speaker for today, and just like you guys, there were conflicts, and she couldn't come on today. So I've got her in my pocket for the future because I know the information she has to share is just amazing, and honestly, I want to hear it too. But I had a person step up to the plate at the last minute, and with all the recruiting and all the bonuses towards recruiting that are coming in this month, let me tell you that this is the perfect person it was meant to be to have on this call today. So I am, she's level 10 when she's offering the opportunity. She is an amazing speaker, and she is strategic beyond belief. So I'm so excited to present her today. So I'm going to give her official Mary Kay introduction now. Independent Future Executive Senior Sales Director Emily Schutte began her Mary Kay business in October 2004 and debuted as a sales director in April 2006. She has achieved 39 gold medals and has been a star consultant 78 quarters. I think that gold medal went up this past month, by the way. She qualified for 10 career cars, and 5 of them are the beautiful pink Cadillac. She's been a member of the Queen's Court of Personal Sales 16 times, including once in the top 20, and is a 10-time member of the Queen's Court of Sharing, including 4 times in the top 20. She led her unit to achieve 10 unit circle appearances, including 3 times in the $500,000 Circle of Achievement and 3 times in the Circle of Excellence, earning 3 top sales director trips. She was honored by her sister sales directors as the monthly Go-Give nominee for October of 2023. So please welcome from New Prague, Minnesota, and a member of the Susan Ponko National Area Independent Future Executive Senior Sales Director, Emily Schutte.
Hey friends! Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Stacey, for that awesome introduction, and all the corporate staff, and Craig for all your work on all the things that you've been doing to, just help us out and keep us going. And I was super excited when Stacey asked me to train on this. And I'll be honest with you, I am pretty sure this is the largest Zoom I've ever been on in my entire life. So I got a little bit sweaty when I got on. But I'm excited to share with you today because, we just came off an exciting recruiting month or team building month, and we want to keep going with that. But I want to start off by talking about something important that I feel is important right now. And that is the type of leadership that's needed right now. And as leaders, we want to know, what we're doing to lead our people. And so I recently listened to a podcast from a prominent business person, and he talked about the fact that anytime in history there's been a major crisis of any kind, that human behavior goes into 3 phases, okay? And as I tell you about these 3 phases, I want you to know that society and the successful people in our company are in phase 3 and moving into phase 3. And he also said that the people who are the best leaders right now and are going to come out on top are the ones who are leading people out of phase 1 and 2 and into this phase 3. So phase 1 is shock. We go into shock. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening to me. What are we going to do? Okay, that'll happen to us during the COVID times. Stage 2 is called empathy. And that's where society goes into checking on each other. Like, Stacey, are you okay? We go into self-care. Meditation apps start going through the roof. Netflix subscriptions. It's all about taking care of ourselves, mental health days, all of those things, right? So that's stage 2. Friends, we are in stage 3, and we are seeing it all over the country. And stage 3 is the productivity phase. And it's where companies are saying, okay, guys, you had time to figure it out. It's time to move on and back to bottom lines and productivity and winning again and getting back to where we were. And we're seeing this in the corporate world right now, just with restructurings and people, companies asking people to come back into work and, laying off people. I've had several in my unit lose their jobs recently. And so we're seeing this. And so helping our people move back into productivity. And so if you're feeling like part of your unit is like you're in a different place than they are, it could be that you're in productivity and they're still sitting in phase 2 or in phase 1. And if they aren't moving out of that phase, then putting ourselves back into productivity and finding other stage 3 people. And that's what I'm excited about right now, is the people I'm bringing into the company are in phase 3. or stage 3. And I had to make that pivot myself. And so I'm really working with them to get, my people who want to be leaders, because we're looking to build a national area. So I don't want to forget about them. So I'm still working with them to get into productivity, but I had to balance that with new people. And personally, I've gotten so much energy. I realized what was draining my energy is that I felt like for the last couple years, I've spent all of my energy leading people out of things and through things instead of toward things. And friends, I am ready. I don't know about you, but I am excited and ready to start leading people towards things instead of out of things and through things. So today's focus is, like Stacy had said, it's going to be on team building, which is awesome because we just came off this huge team building month. And of course we want to keep that going, but we also want our teams focused on building teams. And so, funny story, this training that I'm going to share with you, I actually wrote this for myself on an airplane once. Who does that? I don't know. I just was feeling it. And so I love to really, if you get to know me, I love to study things and think deeply about things. And I've made it my mission to not just get good at team building through holding a lot of appointments, but to really understand it so that I can pass it on to my team and so that they're strong team builders too. And so the reason that I wrote this on an airplane was it was out of frustration about something that I was not able to figure out for the longest time. And maybe you've had this same thing if you're a strong, team builder and that type of thing. So it's an answer to the perpetual question of, why can I team build so well? I share the exact things that I do with my team, like literally the exact process, the exact words, the exact things, but other people just cannot duplicate the result. And I know that you could argue it's confidence and all these different things, and I do believe in that. But what came to me was, no one has really come up with a metric or a measurement system for team building. Now, I know you're saying, but Emily, the career path. Okay, but the career path is not a measurement of how skilled a person is at actually team building, right? Because you can have a red jacket who doesn't, for example, I have this gal, Ashley, who joined my unit at the end of March, 9 days ago, and she's shutting down her red jacket today. Now, she's got some natural ability, but we don't know her skill level yet when she actually goes out and holds her own appointments and is, working on team building with people she does not know. And so I wanted to create something that would help me evaluate my unit and be able to help them move in a direction of more intentional team building. And so the thing that I came up with, I call it phase 5 team building. That's the name of it. Because I believe that team building happens in phases. And the reason that I use the word phase versus level is because unlike a level, a phase is something that you can reach, but it's also something that if your confidence dips, that you can actually go backwards. And true story, I felt like I was approaching phase 5 team building, which is the pinnacle, right before the pandemic, and then reverted all the way back to phase 2, just when the pandemic happened and my confidence was not high in virtual appointments at the beginning. So I love this because it helps your consultant know where she is on her journey, and then you as the leader can give her the tools that she needs to move up and have more success on her team building journey. So because I invented this, I also invented the names of the phases. So we're gonna have a little fun. So phase 1, I call Lucky Ducky phase. This is where someone in your unit gets team members solely based on enthusiasm alone. Accidental, they're lucky. It also goes under the category of anytime someone looks you up on your marykay.com website and joins your team from there, that's not a scammer. That is lucky. There is no skill involved in phase 1. You just simply need to exist, know how to copy and paste your unique link, and be excited. Okay, so that's phase 1. Phase 2, I probably need a new name for this, but I call it the mom, grandma, cat, dog phase. You either got a couple team members in phase 1, right? New consultant gets a couple team members as an example, and she's got a taste for it. And she's maybe close to red. And so she asks her mom or her uncle or not uncle, aunt or whoever, if they will join her team as a favor to help her finish whatever the goal is. They're not necessarily intentional about who or why they're coming in. They just need the people to finish the goal, right? And it's always, the thing with phase 2, it's always someone you have a personal connection with. So a lot of new consultants, who are very connected can actually team build a lot in this phase 2 because they are just a very connected and have big families and things like that. But the key is that you have a connection. A lot of DIQs finish this way. When I finished DIQ 18 years ago, my mom was one of my last team members. And you know what's cool? She's still in my unit 18 years later. So that's kind of neat too. Phase 3 is the anyone and everyone phase. The difference between phase 2 and this phase is that you don't have a personal connection with these people. You've moved past just hitting red jacket. Like a consultant has moved past that. But she now realizes, oh my gosh, if I want to keep going, I now have to find people at my appointments. I can no longer rely on my circle of influence. I can't rely on my charisma, cute, and connectedness. I need to find people at my appointments. And because you have a certain metric to hit, you set out to hold appointments and find anyone and everyone that will sign up with you. And along the way, you get a little bit of everything, right? You get the good, you get the interesting, you get the extra interesting, and sometimes even the really awesome gems. So that is phase 3. Phase 4, this is where it gets fun, you guys. And I'm just gonna share this. I've done court of sharing many times. My first 2 court of sharings, I think I was like 23 years old. Probably phase 2 and phase 3 looking at and it was the old bee with the emerald eyes. So whenever people talk about that, I'm like, yeah, this is like a phase 2, phase 3 bee. This one's like, it's probably a 2. But I'm telling you, the magic happens not when you just get a B, but when you do it in phase 4, okay, or above. And phase 4, I call the intentionality phase. This is where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you realize you want more out of your team building. It's no longer satisfying to you to just team build your mom and all the people you know and whoever and anyone and everyone. You realize, but maybe you're not sure, but you want to have a specific type of person on your team. You're no longer satisfied with narrow-minded prospects, small thinkers, and people who aren't going anywhere. You don't want prospects that you know will be a lot of work, that you have to bring up to the level you want to bring them up to. In this phase, you make the decision to become focused and very intentional about who is coming into your team and your unit. So I'm going to give you examples on how to move, what a conversation with a consultant might look like with this. So in order to move through the phases, help your consultants move through the phases, or yourself, right? We got to lead ourselves well too. We have to have an awareness of where they're at. And some of that's just through good conversations, but my guess is you probably know where your main people are at on this scale. So for example, let's say a new consultant joins, signs our independent beauty consultant agreement, and through the pearls of sharing or enthusiasm or luck, she gets a single team member, right? Here's what that conversation might look like. Carrie, you have 1 active right now. You only need 2 more to get into your red jacket. Who in your life right now could we talk to? So that's you taking her from phase 1 into phase 2. Who in your life do you know that we could talk to? Maybe she gets another one in phase 2. So a conversation that might take her into phase 3 would look like, wasn't it super fun adding her onto your team? Now that you have some bookings, how about I show you how to share the opportunity at your parties too? And then you show her, you physically either bring her with you, whether it's virtual or in person, and you show her, how do you share the opportunity at your parties? How do you tell your I story? How do you use the corporate's team building flyer? How do you gather an interest scale? You are actually teaching her the skills of how to team build at appointments with people she doesn't know. Most consultants spend some time in phase 3. Right? In fact, you probably all have reds in your unit that have been there forever, right? For a very long time. Or maybe they revert, depending on their confidence level, between 2 and 3. And so what takes them to 4 and yourself to 4? Okay, directors, believe it or not, can be in phase 1, 2, and 3 also. Trust me, I've been there. Okay, me too. What takes you to 4 is a desire and a hunger for more. Maybe they want more career path, they want directorship, all of the things, right? So the best tool that I have found to help your team move in the direction of at least phase 4 is conversations like this. What qualities of team members that you already have, like out of your team that you already have, what are your favorite qualities with those team members? Another thing might be, have you given any thought to the kind of team you'd like to have? And this is where you get really intentional. And this is my favorite thing. I always have this. You could stop me at any point and I would have this in my date book and I could show you it. So I teach this thing where you have to put it on cardstock. It has to be thick paper, because when you stick cardstock in your date book, right? This is me, it like falls out and then I'm like, oh, now I have to look at it, shoot. And that's the point. You want to look at it. And so what I teach my future people that want to move up is, have you actually sat down and made a list of what's important to you about what you want on your team in 2024? And you know what? Your list is going to look completely different than this. This is just like Emily Schuette's list. And I have found, because I've been doing this for years, my list originally had like 80 different words on it. Not anymore. I actually find that your brain, right, it's that reticular activating system in your brain that goes to work to find the things that you write down, has a little bit of an easier time if you don't make the list so long. So for me, because I'm looking for women who want to move into a leadership role, I want them to be independent. I want self-starters. I want people who want and desire a leadership platform, who are creative, because I'm a creative, who do what they say they're going to do. Now, this wanted venture thing, you're like, that's kind of interesting. I love adventure, and I think this business is a daily adventure. I mean, the last couple of days proved that, and it's like they can roll with it, right? So I like people who like adventure. I love deep thinkers. I love kind people, and I love people who are collaborative. And so all of my unit members have this in their date book because, I'm constantly like, okay, well, what are your qualities? What are you looking for? So, and then affirm those, right? And the other thing you could do, the other exercise I've done with my team, is have them rate their confidence. This is a one-on-one conversation, I want to say that. You have them rate their confidence on a 1 to 10 scale. And maybe rate your own confidence on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is like not confident at all, and 10 is like you're like next level national sales director confident. And one of the reason I like to do this is I like to gently explain to people that if your confidence is a 6, it's not to say that you won't add level 8, 9, 10 confident women to your team, but typically it's going to be lower confident women than what you are, because that's just how it works, right? So, and even if you get a woman who's a level 8 and you're a 6, if you don't have the right systems, she doesn't have the right systems, she might not stay. And so we want to really work on our consultant's confidence. And so when I ask her that, like, okay, what can we do to build your confidence? What are you feeling the least confident in? And then you can work one-on-one on her and have those conversations. I also find that the phases that I talked about are a lot like the confidence thing. It's hard for a phase 1 recruit or team builder to add a future phase 4 recruiter to her team, because you tend to emulate what the person who brought you into the company does. So yeah, just some things to think about and working with the people in your units. Okay, so phase 5, that's the last one. You're probably like, is she going to talk about phase 5? Phase 5 is what I call intentional, high vibrational, it's a hard word to say, team building. You move from just proclaiming the qualities you want in people to adding a specific type of person who matches your vibration level. Next level, this is like next level team building, you guys. Like, you want women who want to work, who want more out of their life, and they are willing to pay the price to get it. It's a quantity of quality people. And it's really about who you be, right? Because they're going to match like who you are. And for me, the way that I figured this out was, do you ever just sit and listen to trainings and something isn't congruent with who you are? It's not that it's wrong or bad, it just isn't congruent with you. So I've said in trainings throughout the years where people would talk about, like they would go and do a party and they would intentionally forget to talk about toner or intentionally skip the moisturizer so they can be like, oh my gosh, I totally forgot that. So that people would be relatable or find that person is relatable. And that never, throughout all the years of Mary Kay, it never sat right with me. Like anytime someone would train on that, I would just, this is what I would think. So what you're saying is that even though I've spent years, car miles, hours of my life perfecting my craft and taking pride in getting good at what I do, that now I'm supposed to play dumb so that people at my parties feel comfortable around me? Nope. And so in what other profession does someone spend years getting good at something and then play dumb in a meeting? They don't, right? So this is how Phase 5 was birthed for me. This is my truth in this Phase 5. I want to recruit women who see how good I am and passionate I am and say, she's good. I want to learn from her. I want to be at that level too. And I believe I can get there if I sign up with her. That's Phase 5 team building. Women who see success, are comfortable with it, and match your level or surpass it. Ooh, who's excited about having a bunch of those people on your team? I can't be the only one, right? Those are called like sister directors who are going to challenge you and beat you. And I'm going to like cash all the checks along the way. It's going to be incredible. So, how do you know you're in Phase 5? Phase 5 is I think I've been there maybe like once briefly, maybe twice briefly. It's not a thing. It takes a lot to get there, right? Here's ways that I came up with that you know you're there. You medal almost every month of some kind. You're always medaling. Month in, month out personally. You've had a lot of people you've recruited express interest in leadership. Okay, so you have a lot of people who are like, yeah, that directorship thing was pretty cool. Your team members are self-sufficient. They watch all trainings. They have drama, but you never hear about it. And they're on all the meetings. Like they're just easy to work with. Okay, so if you're adding a lot of people like that, that's just some indicators. But it really comes from who you are as a person, from practice, holding bazillions of parties, mindfulness, gathering feedback, making mistakes, and consistency. And again, you can revert at any time when something takes your confidence down. It could be, something tragic happens in your family, it takes your confidence down. It could be something happening in society, it takes your confidence down. I'm going to be honest with you. In January, I think I was in Phase 2, and I was like, Emily Schutte, what are you doing? This is like not who you are. Why are you Phase 2 team building? Oh, and then I snapped out of it in February, and we're back, baby. We're back into Phase 4, and it feels so good. I just want to tell you, it feels so good when you are intentional about your team building. Okay, so I'm going to shift. I apologize. Whenever I train, it's meaty, but I want to give you some tools or things that I'm talking about with my unit to help improve their team building and moving through these phases and just getting intentional with their team building. Okay, so I'm going to share a few of these things. So the first thing that I've really, really been working on with my team is finding the why behind her payoff. So when you're working with a prospect, right? Honestly, like if you really just think about team building, it is as simple as finding a woman's payoff, meaning like, how is the Mary Kay opportunity going to give her the best payoff for what she wants in her life, and then connecting Mary Kay to that. So what's her payoff? Connect Mary Kay to it. But here's what I find that we do a lot in the Mary Kay world, and maybe you've even done this, I've done it. Okay, so we're talking with a prospect, and she says, oh, I really want, I think it'd be really cool to just like be in the community and have all the fun and do all the things that you guys do, right? So we hear that, we're like, sweet, she wants community. And so then we start like megaphoning at her like, oh my gosh, we have these super fun unit meetings. We have this like rockin' Facebook community. And we're just like megaphoning all the community things at her because we think that's going to get her to want to join our team. And friends, I'm just going to tell you that when you get really good And I've been doing this with my team. They'll call me all excited. I met this prospect and she's so excited about the community. And do you know what irritates them? I love them. We love each other. But I'll say, do you know why? And they go, oh no. Okay, so she wants community. Do you know why? I call this the thing behind the thing. What is the why behind her payoff? Great, she wants community. Do you know why? Do you know we called that woman back? And do you know what she said when I said, Amanda was telling me that you said the community was important to you. Tell me more about that. And do you know what the woman said? She said, I grew up in a family with 10 people, and there were always people surrounding me. And so when I saw you guys together, it reminded me of how it used to be when all of my family lived around me. And I realized that I wanted that in my life, and I want to get that back. And I was like, that is a way different message than megaphoning all the things. Now I can be like, I love, the family aspect of our company. And here's the specific examples that match what you want specifically, right? So finding the why behind her payoff. And sometimes it's just asking, what about that is important to you? Tell me more about that. Because once you figure that out, they are like excited to join your team and get going. Okay, the second thing I've been working on my team is acting like every time you meet someone might be your only chance to meet her. Now, I've been in the company 19 years, and when I joined, it was book, sell, book, recruit, right? Nothing wrong with that. But in today's times, I book a lot from my bookings, but sometimes life happens and they don't hold, and now I can't get a hold of her. And so I'm like, ladies, we just gotta act like every time we're in front of someone might be our only chance to like make an impact or to share with her, to have that kind of meaningful team building conversation. And so I teach my team to have those conversations right at the party or right after the virtual appointment, so we can keep the process moving. Okay, the third thing I'm teaching them is not looking at their interest scale or what they're saying as necessarily factual at first. Okay, so let me explain this. I don't think most women have the confidence to put what they really want or to say that they're interested. But here's what the analogy I give. So I told someone I was training on this. They're like, you got to talk about the unicorn. So here's the unicorn thing. When we share the opportunity, I really believe the Mary Kay opportunity is a unicorn, right? Like it's that good. And so oftentimes, whether it's virtual or in person, and you're doing a party and you're telling her about the opportunity, there are really smart women sitting there going like, is this real? It's like you brought this real life unicorn into the room. I mean, it's like, it smells like a horse. You showed her the unicorn. She pet the unicorn. Like you talked about it's literally in her living room. And it's like, she hasn't had time to wrap her brain around it. Have you ever been driving down the road and you see something and it takes your brain a minute to go, what did I really just see? I think that happens at our appointments. And some of the really sharp women that we want to have on our teams just haven't had time to wrap their brain around what this company actually offers people. And so I never necessarily, like, she might put a 4, but then when I talk to her 2 days later, she's an 8, and you're going, well, what changed? And sometimes it's just they need to wrap their brain around what we're telling them. But we only like to go for the high interest people because we're like, ooh, sweet, she's like a 9 out of 10 on the interest scales. I'm going to go for her. But there's a lot of great women that just need a hot second to wrap their brain around it. And then I'll share one more, and then we're at time here. But not following through and following up is another thing. My team this is an area we've really worked on last month. Because whenever we leave, we turn off the Zoom on a virtual party or an in-person party, we leave. Time is ticking, right? I mean, I learned a long time ago, people team build closest to the product. Have you ever asked yourself why that is? I think it's because our products are so good that they have a way of making something has never seemed possible seem possible. Do you ever have that? You go into a party and she's never even heard about Mary Kay before, but by the end, she's like, I just cannot believe what my face feels like. And then suddenly she's seeing possibilities of how this opportunity could fit into her life too. And so this is one of my main team building rules. I never leave the appointment without another appointment, like a team building appointment, to chat more about it. And this is the script that I use. Stacy, would it benefit you to just learn more about Mary Kay? All I would do is answer your questions and see if it's a fit for you or not. I call it the magic script. I hardly ever get a note to that. Would it benefit you to just learn more about it? All I would do is answer your questions and see if it's a fit for you or not. And then, of course, I always joke with my consultants. They'll be like, oh, yeah, I did that. Okay, when are you talking to her? Oh, I told her I'd call her next week. Or I told her I'd call her Tuesday. You guys, I want you to imagine going to the dentist next time and saying, they tell you need to get a cavity filled and saying, oh yeah, I'll just show up next week. I'll just come in on Tuesday. You guys, it's not an appointment, right? A day and a time, because then you'll be in front of her again when you have that specific thing. So, okay, so I'm just going to close with this because we're close to time. I just want to put an idea in your mind for a second here, because I put this own idea in my mind last month. I only had a few qualified in, I don't know, beginning of February. And I just thought, what would shutting down a phase 4 quota sharing in the next 3 months, what would that do for your business? And I got excited again about personally team building again, right? Having people who are in the productivity phase to run with, to build with, and to have more with. And so I want to put that idea in your mind too, because you've still got 3 months and it's in alignment with all the fun promotions that corporate has right now. So girl, you got this. But yeah, thank you for letting me share today. Oh my goodness.